Good afternoon, class. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened with Zoom. Zoom was not working on my desktop, and then I wasn't working on my Chromebook, and then it started working on my desktop. But my first concern was to end the meeting so you weren't all stuck in the waiting room. So I was able to get to the desktop, but then I didn't have a microphone or something was wrong with the microphone. So then I told you, at least I was able to chat and tell you what was going on. So I had to cancel it. So I'm just going to run through kind of what I wanted to run through anyways with you here. So first off, I'm going to take my picture off just so you can see the screen here. First thing we're going to do here is what we did last time was last week our physical geography was these four regions. We had the coastal plains, the north central plains, the Great Plains, and the mountains and basins. Those are just categories that we have given to places that share physical characteristics. That's the non-man made stuff. So that's we're basing that on vegetation, landforms, and I'm drawing a blank. Vegetation, landforms, and climate. Climate and vegetation go together because the climate dictates what kind of vegetation you have, and then that's going to determine what kind of society you're going to have. Especially when we're talking way back in the day of 1500s and earlier, um, with the Native Americans. And here's kind of this is the human geography, the people that lived in Texas at the beginning. Yesterday, you were supposed to compare and contrast the Caddo and the Karankawa. And then today, it's the Yumano and the Comanche. Okay. So which one of these are Comanche and which one are Humano? So what we really wanted you to understand is that what we're looking for with human characteristics are, okay, what kind of homes did they have? Well, you've got the Comanche had a teepee, which is a temporary home, and that's because they lived on the Great Plains and they were nomadic. They followed the buffalo and followed their resources. They didn't stay in one place and gather their resources. They went and searched for their resources, and they rode horses, which was unique back in the day. The Humanos are in the mountain and basin region. If you remember from our physical geography, that's the desert area. So that area has a situation where they have permanent housing. So one difference we can know about them is they were nomadic and they lived in a more sedentary or where they were stayed in one place. From yesterday, I know if you've got questions, just email them to me because unfortunately we weren't able to get through the lesson today. A couple of things to remember from yesterday. They both were on the coastal, there's the Gulf of Mexico. The Karankawa was in areas like Galveston and Corpus, which is where I used to live in Corpus, and it's an area where obviously there's water right there. So they used to have these little dugout canoes, and they would be involved in fishing and that sort of thing. The Caddo, a little bit colder weather up here for those of you that have been up this part of Texas, Northeast Texas. They built these type of homes, dome homes, and in their society, turquoise was a very sought after um, luxury or valuable item. So that kind of gives you an idea of that they had a society where they were placing value on certain objects beyond just I need to eat or I need to drink water or I need this to hunt, that there was actual value in maybe the beauty of it. Okay, here's a little video intro of the Comanche.
Comanche no longer go to war with their neighbors, but through dancing and singing at gatherings called powwows, they connect to a fabled and colorful past. Frank Swift dances with his 5-year-old son, who attends a Comanche preschool.
My son, he went to the Comanche daycare, and he can sing some of the Comanche hymns, and he knows some of the words and everything, so he knows more than me.
Swift says he lives and works in the modern world, but maintains his Native American identity.
I'm proud of who we are and where we come from.
The Comanche Nation of today is known for its hospitality and amiability, but for much of the 18th and 19th centuries, the Comanche and allied tribes fiercely dominated the rich hunting grounds of the southern plains, where bison roamed in large herds. The advance of industrialized
Well, let me go back to this. This is what I really wanted you to see is this is the Great Plains. This is they were in this area, so they rode their horses and followed the buffalo. The buffalo is where they got most of their resources. And that's sort of how you can see how the geography affects the human characteristic, not necessarily human characteristics as far as how they look or anything, but how they develop their culture and their society. It becomes important. Okay, today's learning objective is I can compare and contrast the Jumano and the Comanche peoples of Texas. Okay, so, whoops. Step one is you're going to open the Google Slides, you're going to follow directions, and you're going to complete the chart comparing Jumano and the Comanche. And I'm going to show you that right now. One other thing before I get into this, this is fifth period. Let me get to sixth. You go to sixth period here, okay? And before I tell you about today's assignment, this comes up. This right here, for anybody that's missing assessments, I obviously sent y'all an email talking about how the Zoom link failed, but or how the Zoom failed. But I sent you another one if you were missing any of these. Go to it's also in the email, but these are the 3 assessments. They're pretty much completion grades at this point, just to help you out because we're all new to this. So make sure you go on there and check. If you got the email, it means you're missing something. Okay. Now, if I go back, let's take a look at what we want to do today. Well, one thing that you're going to want to do today is you're going to want to open up, you're going to want to open up Wednesday's chart. And this is from yesterday. Now, hopefully you did this chart because it'll make today's assignment much easier. So this is from Wednesday. And the reason I'm opening Wednesdays up, you'll see in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to have this one up. Really what I'm focused on from yesterday is this right here. This here, if you filled this chart out, this will make today's assignment much easier. So you filled this out, you got your information. Now what you'll do is you'll come over here and you're going to do it for the Jumano and the Comanche. So you'll have both of these. Let me slide this over so you can see. So you're going back and forth here and here. And then I may even open a third one because this is the key that I'm going to grade. I'm going to look at this to see if you've learned what you're supposed to learn. One similarity between the Caddo and the Jumano, one similarity between the Karankawa and the Comanche. So what you see is I'm taking Wednesday's work and Thursday's work and I'm combining them. So that's really what you want to do. If you have any questions, make sure you email me. And then we'll kind of review as we get close to the test. We'll review and we'll do that sort of thing. But I apologize again for the Zoom meeting. This is the best I could do was come up and record this, and I'm going to put this into your course right now. And like I said, just do the best you can, and we'll talk about it on Friday.